Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. The podcast is brought to you by Yellow Jacket. Guys, everybody knows who Yellow Jacket is. If you don't, smack yourself in the nuts because you're a retard. Yellow Jacket is one of the biggest names in the HVAC industry, and they are one of the biggest names for a reason. They make quality products. Just for what they stand for as a company is just it's awesome, and it's awesome to have this affiliation with them. Go to their website, www.yellowjacket.com. Check out all their latest and greatest products, the new Titan digital manifolds, their leak detectors, hoses. Got to be using their hoses, guys. They're a must. But check them out at their website, and remember, 66 years of expertise built into every tool.
I pledge of allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands,
one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. God bless the USA, and happy 243rd birthday to the United States Marine Corps.
If you're trying to take your HVAC game to the next level, then buckle your seatbelt, crank up the volume, and try not to be offended, because you're listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast with Gil Kelley and Kelly McKay. Now, here's Gil and Kelley.
Oh, I was making you guys wait. What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the HVAC Uncensored podcast, episode 1919. Happy to be here tonight. Hope everybody is having a great day thus far. Feeling good, man. Feeling good. Podcast is doing great. Me and Kelly are excited. So without further ado, how you doing there, brother?
Doing good. I am looking to take my HVAC game to the next level. That's why I'm here.
I hear you, man. Me too. Me too. We're trying to pump out information, man. Guys, we've been doing a bunch of different kinds of episodes, getting some guests on, and and we'll get some like big guests, so to speak, or whatever. But sometimes it's just going to be some of our friends in the trade telling their story. Like we said, if any of you guys want to come here on the podcast and you got a story to tell, we're more than welcome to let you do that, man. Just hit us up. We have a couple of guys lined up. We're going to try to get on here. We had a little gap because of my laptop issues, but that's all taken care of now. But the last couple of episodes, like the one with Rick and with Justin, it's such a good time to record. Guys, if you don't know, we had like almost 3 hours of audio with Justin we lost a little bit of his audio, but even with that, we had an hour and a half long podcast. So,
so hope you enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. And, it's one of those things that it's nice to just have some fresh people on the podcast, just to get their perspective, and they got a lot of great information to share. So we need to get old Joshua on here. I love his 2 cents in 2 minutes. If you haven't checked that out on the Facebook page, be sure to check him out and give him some love and some support. And we got to get him on here.
Dude, I've been trying to get Josh on the podcast since we started it, man. He just
What the hell?
I don't know. Josh is always hesitant about coming on. I know he's busy, but we're all busy, Josh. So no excuse, man. You need to get your ass on the podcast. That's definitely an episode that I would love to do.
We're calling you out, buddy.
Yes, we are calling you out. And real fast, since Kelly said something about the Facebook group, yes, the Facebook is growing. I mean, it's almost doubled since me and Kelly started this podcast, which is fantastic. So any new people out there listen to the podcast, I mean, I guess most people that listen are already in the group. But if you are listening to the podcast and you're not, make sure you answer the questions. Don't just put like yes or something stupid, because you're going to get declined. Just make sure you click in, you answer the questions. Me, Kelly, the other admin, or one of the moderators will let you in. We just, it's a group for people in the trades. I'm sorry, go ahead.
Oh, I was just going to say, I am guilty of letting people in who have not answered the questions, but I always check their Facebook page. Because if they, their last post was June of 2017 and they're asking to be in the group, something's fishy with that. It's so I won't accept you but if I can see that you're active and you either work for a company or you're posting relevant stuff on your regular page, well then, yeah, I'll let you in. So that's kind of my take on it. I don't know if I should be letting people in without answering the questions, but if they're obviously in an HVAC company, or they're we get vendors and stuff that want to join the group because they want to promote their products and shit, and as long as they don't like overwhelm us with stuff, I really don't care. I mean, it's good stuff for us to all learn and know that it even exists out there. So they're just doing what any business does, try to promote themselves. So
Yeah, and I'm cool with that, and I do the same thing. That some of them I'll look up, and if I see it says working at Joe Blow's Heating and Air or something, then
yeah,
I let him in as well. There's been a few times that we've let people slip in, and it's been fucking Harry homeowner, and they're in there asking questions on how to fix their AC, and you can tell because the guys fucking eat them alive. So
yeah.
I'll kick those people out. And one thing I can say, it's been pretty cool. A lot of those companies you're talking about that they're affiliated with our trade, but they're some kind of vendor or some sort. A lot of times they'll hit me up and be like, "Hey, I wanted to join your group for, blah blah blah. I just wanted to make sure it was okay." So
Yeah.
I mean that's cool if they do that. I'm like, yeah, I don't have a problem. The only time I have a problem is if you start doing things and I start getting a bunch of complaints, like legitimate complaints, because we have some whiny bitches that I don't worry about that. But
Right.
like we've had a couple of guys saying that they've been in Facebook jail, and it's been because of the group. They've been reported, but I don't know how, because all those reports come to me and Brian Lee, the other admin, and I don't ever accept any of them. I mean, even if they're legitimate, I'll just delete the post. I'm not going to report somebody to Facebook. So I don't know how those people are getting that. I don't know.
Are they sure? I've never been in Facebook jail, so I'm not sure how that works. Do they actually tell you that, hey, the content on this specific post was not, is not acceptable, or do they tell you which post it was?
To be honest, I don't know. I think so, but I really don't. I've never been in Facebook jail, which is surprisingly, because I say some pretty off the wall shit. But
Right.
yeah, no. I mean, and I've said this again, and I'm gonna say it for the millionth time, guys. The Facebook group, yes, it's HVAC Uncensored. It's named after the fucking podcast. The uncensored part came from me and Kelly going to give our uncensored opinion about things in the trade and going on. It's not for everybody to act like a fucking, dumb fuck, and show their ass acting like a douchebag. That is not. So I hate it when people say some off the wall bullshit and they're like, this is supposed to be HVAC Uncensored. Okay, no, it's not giving you an excuse to be a dipshit. That's not what it is. And like in reference to Josh's post, I mean, I want our group to be, obviously we, recorded a podcast with Ethan, a good up and coming guy. We want guys to be able to post their work and get constructive criticism, not guys being an asshole to fucking super text. I refuse to let our group be that way. And obviously I like the numbers, but if I have to start chopping people out, then so be it. I'm not going to let it turn into some of these big groups where guys try to post something and they just get fucking, chewed up, and it just makes guys not want to post. And I can't say I blame them.
Yeah. Yeah. I like Josh's 2 cents in 2 minutes the other night where he was talking about just all the bashing that happens. Am I on the right track? Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah.
I'm sorry. Yeah, it's just and I had dropped out of several groups in the past because, man, somebody will post some beautiful job or some, even just type something in, and they just get torn apart, and it's just ridiculous. And it's one of those things where obviously these people have mental issues with their own selves to be able to act like that when and man, I'm not perfect. I definitely I've blown up on people for the wrong reasons on Facebook before, and then realized that oh, I was wrong. That's not, it wasn't their intention for it to sound that way or act that way. But um, I don't know. You just get sick of the bashing.
Yeah, well, if you look in that thread, one guy, he says how guys in our trade, we just have like that ego. And
Yeah,
everybody wants to be, we just have those strong egos, those like type A personalities. And it's almost like you have to tear somebody else down to make yourself feel good.
I read that, and that was a good observation, because it's one of those things that, yes, after you've been doing it for a long time, you know a lot. I mean, just because you've learned through the school of hard knocks, and so it's easy to, you have even a 3 to 5 year guy say something, and you want to, like, what are you, fucking stupid? But that's not the way we want to go. And I've never personally done that, because I would never do that. But I know sometimes when some people type some shit, it's not like when they think about it after they typed it, they were just, it was an emotional charge. And so when they think about it and realize what they said, they're like, oh shit, I probably shouldn't have said that. But yeah, it's a problem. I agree. I mean, I guess it's our egos or something, but
Yeah, I
kind of
mean,
have to just leave that shit outside of the door, I guess. And just think a little more before you post something nasty.
yeah, man. I mean, we're all here to help each other, man. We've always said it. We're all trying to learn. And I don't know. I don't know. I forgot where the fuck I was gonna go there. But
Just that, so you were just talking about that guy who posted that. He kind of explained it real well. So
oh, yeah. Oh, what I was going to say is, I mean, there's some guys in the group that I know that they're ball busters. That's just, but I know that they're joking because
right,
I've talked to them or messaged them and I know that. But some of you guys that, if that's your intention, you're just busting balls, at some point, you got to say something that people realize that. Because if you're always an asshole, then we don't know that you're just ball busting. You know what I mean? We just think you're a fucking dick. So,
right. If you're just kidding around all the time, it's that thing with text messaging, man. And it's just like a text message. I mean, you post something, it's like, it's real easy to take something out of perspective, because you just didn't, the words don't communicate quite like, over the phone. If you're actually talking to somebody, it's can sometimes get a bad view of actually what they're actually trying to communicate.
yeah, because you don't have that tone of voice. It's funny because I
Yeah,
used to always text my brother and I had a habit like I would put exclamation points and he would text me back. He's like, why are you fucking yelling at me?
yeah,
I'm like, what are
exactly.
you talking about? He's like, that's what an exclamation point means, dipshit. Like you're saying it like that.
Yeah.
I'm like, ah. I'm like, what do you mean yelling at you? It's a text message.
I got an email that way. It was all caps, and it's because I was shopping around for somebody to put the shelving in my one of my trucks, and the guy just he could give me an answer, and I for whatever reason I think he was having a hard time communicating with the factory, and I just feel like if you and they got a lot of contracts and they do a lot of work, so I feel like he should maybe have a better point of contact maybe with the company that he works with, so we could get some clear answers on how long it's going to be before this ladder rack's going to show up, because I don't want to take my truck there and have it sit for 4 weeks before I get it back. And that's what happened the last time I used them. So I'm trying to get this clear communication so I know that this ain't going to happen again, and just let me know. And overall, but just to get this one answer probably took 4 or 5 days, and I was shopping around at that point because I was looking for somebody who could give me a straight answer. And when he finally figured it out, he kept, for one, he would never take my cell phone, so he kept calling the business number. And my guys are really good at keeping, like, they're the gatekeepers. They keep me, because half the time someone asks for me, it's a bullshit call.
Yeah.
And even, it's strictly just salesmen. So they're good gatekeepers, and they weren't letting him through. And I talked to him probably 6 times. He never asked me for my cell phone number. I just didn't think to just give it to him. But ultimately, he wound up. I had made another decision, but like the next day, I get a big long email, and it's all in caps. So he was pissed and screaming at me, I think.
That's funny.
Is the point of my story, but yeah.
Well, I remember you having that issue about when you got the one and it took too long. So did you end up going with another company, or did you end up still going with the same guy? Oh, you did.
I did. And these shelving, I can't remember. I think it was Adrian Steel was the shelving that's in my first van, and then the second one is Weather Guard. And I got to tell you, I like the Adrian's better. It's just a better design. Like the bottle rack is way better than so, but I didn't. I figured they were all comparable, so I didn't even look at pictures of it or anything. But and I'm still happy with it. But and I think that the people who put this in, they have a couple of different options. So I'll just look deeper into it before we outfit the next one.
Yeah, they have a whole bunch of different options now. I don't know who makes the one that's in my van, but I like it how it's like a bolt where I can slide the shelves down. It's not easy though. I tried to do it because I have a refrigerant rack that sits in the front little partition between like the back of the truck and the driver's, and I have one that faces the back of the truck. Well, I wanted to slide that thing all the way down so I could put that in the gap, so it's like adjacent with the shelves. And I loosened the bolts, and I'm like pushing this, like, and I couldn't. I got it to move, so you can tell it does what I mean, but it does what it's supposed to do. But I guess my shelves were already filled up at that point, so I probably should have thought about that before the shelves were full. I couldn't get that bitch to move to save my life.
Right. So those are like aluminum tracks that is there one on the ground and one on the side up top?
Yes.
That it's mounted in? Yes. Okay. Because those tracks were in this van before. It had shelving obviously in it before, but they had removed it before they sold it. So, which I had to go get it inspected because it was purchased out of state. And I saw on an affidavit or something where it had been what do they call it, just recovered. Like the bank came and got it because obviously they weren't paying, what do they call that,
repossessed.
Repossessed. Yeah. So I would imagine the shelving company didn't get paid either, so they probably took the shelves out and gave them back or something. Who knows?
Well, either that or the bank fucking took everything out of it that was of value and sold that shit.
Exactly.
Like, fuck the shelving company. We'll sell this shit back to you.
I can tell you that it had a bulkhead in it already, and it's the metal bulkhead with the door, which I don't know who uses the door. I know I never would. I never did on the older vans I had with the door. These are so much taller. It's possible that you'd use it, and that's great if you would. But I can tell you that they now make these composite bulkheads, and it's just like, I don't know, that tough plastic stuff that you see in truck beds. That's a removable liner type thing. It's not really removable when it's in, but it's that thick plastic composite stuff. Well, that's what we got for the first van, and that thing is nice. I mean, you don't hear shit rattling around in the back on the shelves or anything. It's just a lot quieter in the cab. And it also, like when you're when it's hot or cold, it's going to keep all your heat or all your cool in the cab instead of trying to heat the whole van or cool the whole van.
Yeah, no, I agree. Mine doesn't have the door, but I think mine is all metal. But I took it has a couple little slots, but I covered mine up for that reason. It keeps all of it in there.
Yeah.
But one thing I do like, that I know some guys said they had the problem with the Transits, but mine has LED lights in it. When I'm at night, my back cab is bright as holy hell. I have no issues with light.
Your back cab, like when you open the side door or something?
Yeah, like it's a service call and you go in the back of the truck at night to get something. My lights are bright.
Oh man, this thing has this. I don't know about the first one we got, which is 2015, but this 17 that we got, it's got like a freaking I don't know, a 4-foot lamp back there. So when you open the side door, it's beautiful. I mean, you can see everything.
Yeah, so maybe it was just some of the older models, because I've seen in some of the groups where guys are talking like, yeah, the lighting in the back sucks, and I'm like, mine doesn't at all. I took a picture of it and put it in the group one time. I just opened my back doors when it was completely dark and took a picture, and it's bright as hell in there. I'm like, I can see everything without, so I'm good.
Yeah, you don't gotta have your headlamp on.
Yeah, I mean, mine aren't big. They're just like, it looks like a normal light. I'd say they're maybe like 6 inches, maybe like 6 inches, about like 1.5 inches, but there's like 3 of them on each little rib of the truck. And when they all light up, and like I said, they're LED lights and they're bright and they project light all over the truck.
Nice. That's not what we had back in the day.
Hell no.
That's not what we grew up with.
No. Them dim ass lights,
flashlights, and no shit, no lights half the time. So
yeah, you just had LED back then, and people are like, "What the fuck are you talking about?"
We're spoiled nowadays.
Yeah, you're back there trying to fucking find shit. You're just reaching in, pull it out, look at it. Fuck. Nope, not there yet.
Yeah,
dude, I think I've said this story, man. But
things like that. Yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, no, that when I still work with my dad, there was this old electrician we work with, and guy was a badass electrician. I mean, he knew his shit, but his truck was a fucking wreck. I mean, like shit piled on top of shit, piled on top of shit. But he'd open the back of his truck and you'd see him just dig down in the fucking pile, and he would always pull out what he was looking for the first fucking time. And I'd be like, Mr. Dennis, how do you do that? He's like, I don't know. He's like, He's like, it looks like a mess. He's like, but it's organized chaos. I know where the fuck everything is. I'm like, I guess. I'm like, because I don't know how I could never work out a truck like that. I mean, never. I mean, literally shit piled up fucking 2 feet high. You couldn't even walk on the floor. But he'd reach in and grab what the hell he needed. I'm like, all right, man.
That's because he's got 6 of everything on his truck, because when he couldn't find it or didn't think that he had it, he went and bought more. So I guarantee you he's overstocked. That's usually what happens in vans like that.
Yeah.
You're overstocked, you're probably right, because you don't think you have it, and so you wind up, I better get some of these when I'm at the supply house. And then you pick some more up, and you have them. They're just tucked away somewhere or under the pile somewhere.
Yeah, well, I know what really made me wanting to have a clean truck is when I work with my dad. We just had a normal Ford, F-350, Econoline van. But when I work with my dad, I mean, we took care of maintenance for a restaurant chain, so we did refrigeration, air conditioning, electrical stuff, plumbing, kitchen equipment. So trying to fit all that shit on one truck, it was hard. I mean, even when
that'd be tough.
Yeah, I mean, me and my dad would rip that truck apart and we put everything back on there, but it was just, 10 pounds of shit in a 5-pound bucket. It was hard. I mean, and all the refrigerant bottles that we had, I mean, and this is before, I mean, I guess there was refrigerant racks, but everybody wasn't driving around with refrigerant racks like they are now. I mean, that was like, if somebody had one, it was a luxury and it was expensive as fuck.
Yeah. All our older trucks don't have refrigerant bottle racks.
Yeah, that's a new thing. You have those in your trucks. I remember the first time I got them, I thought I was fucking hot shit. But yeah, it was just hard, and it was always cluttered to find stuff. And I was like, so when I got my own vans, I'm like, I'm not working like that. I'm like, I'm making sure my shit's squared away. And now I've become just OCD about it.
Yeah, I need to look at a catalog for some accessories, because I know that there's room. Like, I think maybe on even your van where you've got like a little shelf thing on your back doors where you can organize shit. And I mean, there are some cool things for our work trucks anymore. I need to look through a catalog and see what makes the most sense for us.
Yeah, they have some good things. Like, I have a thing on my side door that's a little shelf that I can put some it's got like a paper towel roll thing and a little holder I can put some stuff in. I ordered more things for the doors to be able to put cans in. And even though my back windows I don't have windows, I ordered the little like grates to put inside as if I did have windows, just to be able to hang stuff on them, stuff like that. I can't remember the name. Have you seen, what the fuck are they called? The thing that people, when they put ladders in their truck, up on top. They'll put like a 6-foot ladder, and there's a thing everybody was doing. I mean, I have mine just bungee corded up right now, and it to be honest, it serves its purpose. I really don't have to do anything. It doesn't rattle around. It's easy to get in and out. But
I don't know what those are called, but I know on those came out when the really tall sprinters came out. I think because if you get you'll never see a really tall sprinter with a ladder rack on top of it. It's because they put their extension ladder hangs from the ceiling.
I used to keep, and I was going to do it in this one. The old one I had when I was with the other company, I used to have like my big PVC pipe. I used to have it in the truck. It was up off to the side, so I didn't have to get up there. But I got to get a piece of this one. I think I just got 4-inch. I got to get a piece of 4-inch PVC. I ordered, or my owner ordered the stuff for me. The little things you put on the end where
the caps and
the metal piece that you can pull up and the brackets and stuff like that. I haven't put it on yet. The only thing I do say about the Transits, and I love the van. I love that van. I'm so happy that I'm in it full time now. It's just getting extension ladder on and off the top. You need a ladder to get a fucking ladder off. So if you have the money to be able to get the ladder rack that comes down, that's great. It's just, I don't know. I mean, if I really wanted
they're expensive, man. They're expensive.
They are. They're like 4 times the cost of a normal one. And in a residential company, it just doesn't make sense. You're not going to use, I get in spurts where I use my extension ladder, but it's not like a commercial where I'm, almost every call I'm taking it off. I mean, if you're a commercial company, then yeah, you should probably have it because you're going to have to get that ladder off all the time. But in residential, it just doesn't justify paying 4 times the cost just because the ladder rack is fucking nicer. I couldn't bring myself to get it. If I really wanted it, the owner wouldn't care. He'd let me get it.
I went ahead and got the one side ones. If you go with the 2 side ones, it's like an extra like $1,200 or some shit. But I just got the one side, so at least the extension ladder can sit up there, and they can get it down. But the vans are wrapped, and I don't want them putting their ladders up against the van to jump up there to take the ladder down, which is, that's what happens. And I don't want the wraps getting damaged just from normal wear and tear. So that's why I got the one side. I know Matt Mitchell, his van has it on both sides, so he spent a shit ton of money on that thing. Oh, yeah.
I didn't know you could get. So you have the ladder rack that actually slides down just on one side?
On one side, where it comes with the pole you stick in there, and then it lifts it down to the side where it's manageable.
Oh, nice. So, I mean, is there no ladder rack on the other side? Like there's nothing, like not even a standard one?
I mean, it goes across the whole truck, but they're so far apart that I can't like put a 6-foot ladder up there. That has to go inside. I might be able to put like a 12-footer up there on the other side.
Well, that's what I mean. If that's the case, then maybe I'll look into something like that, because that's normally what I have. I have my extension ladder on one side, and then the other side, I normally have like a 12-footer and a 10-footer, and then I keep my hand truck up there only because I had it inside and I just moved it. But if I could do that with the kind of one that you have, then maybe that's not bad if the price is right.
It's still expensive. I mean, I'm sure it's still way more than just a typical standard ladder rack. But like I said, with the van being wrapped, I don't want people throwing their ladders up against it and scratching the wrap,
Yeah.
So I figured let's just go for it and get it. But it's, I don't know. I want to say it's somewhere around close to $2,000 for just the one side. If you wanted both sides, it's like, whatever, $3,400 or something ridiculous. I mean, they're freaking expensive.
Yeah, see, I know the one I was looking at was like $3,800, and I was like, yeah, wow. It costs like $600, if less for the regular ladder rack. I was like, yeah, fuck that. I was like, I'm not, that's not happening. All right, man. Well, I guess we've been talking for a little bit, but let's give the guys some kind of knowledge. Is there anything that you would like to drop on the listeners?
Yeah, let's get into it.
All right, here we go.
Now, here's Go Make Money with Kelly McKay.
What's up, guys? So in my office, and most of you guys, if you've seen any of my YouTube videos, a lot of times if I'm filming in my office, I have these 17 success principles that Napoleon Hill came up with. I don't know if he was the original creator of them or not, but he's kind of put all these together, and this is what it takes to be successful. And one thing that comes to mind is just that is what he calls principle number 8 is enthusiasm, because enthusiasm is a state of mind, and it's a combination of mental and physical energy, which is seldom found in somebody who's not in decent health. If you're in decent health, then you have the ability to produce enthusiasm, and enthusiasm is what we need to provide the unexpected for our customers. If you go into a home in a great mood, smiling, happy, and you're full of enthusiasm, even on any sales calls, if it's just, hey, we want to upgrade our equipment, you go out to the home and you're excited about being able to help these people, you are going to dramatically increase your results by just having that enthusiasm when you present the options. Because this enthusiasm, people love to be around people who are enthusiastic. Period. It's one of those things that we do have control over. I know it's sometimes hard as shit to make that enthusiasm come through, because maybe we've had a rough day, or stuff's not going the way you wanted it to go. But it's one of those where when you project that to somebody, you're going to get it back. They're going to get excited. They're going to get happy. And while I'm on that topic, if you wind up selling them something, kind of off the subject, but always congratulate them on making the decision. I know completely going sideways there, but the bottom line is we have to reinforce their decision with some positive reinforcement. So it's like, that's a great decision. I'm glad you went with that. But have enthusiasm through the whole time that you're saying that. And that comes with when you're dealing with your team members, your teammates, whatever the case, your coworkers. The more enthusiastic you are, the more people are going to like you. And this is something that we can all get better at, and we have the ability to change it. So that's all I got. What do you think, Gil?
Yeah, no, I agree, man. I mean, an outgoing personality is infectious. You know what I mean? How many times have you guys ever it's been kind of a shitty day, and you're just around somebody they're just a pleasant person. They're outgoing, and it kind of just makes your mood better. Well, that's kind of how we have to be when we're stepping in somebody's home, because normally, especially if it's a service call, these people have a problem. They're worried, like, fuck, how much is this going to cost me? Man, I hope this isn't going to be outrageous. I don't have to buy a new system, or etc. So when you go out there and you have that, uplifting, confident personality, you're able to relay what's going on with confidence. And guys, that's a big thing. I just talked to one of my guys about that, and he's a good up and coming tech, but I went out to a customer. She's one of them ones who always requested me. And I told him what to say, but he just did not say it very confidently. And when I went out there, she was like, Gil, she was like, no disrespect to him. And let me first off say this. She is a pain in the ass, no doubt about it. But she's like, just, he's telling me I need a blower motor and this and that, and it's going to be, $700. She was like, I just didn't feel comfortable the way he was portraying it, just writing him a $700 check. So we have to be confident in our diagnosis and confident in what we're saying when people ask questions. And don't be afraid to say you don't know. Like I think I've said that before. If you don't know, be like, you know what? I don't know, but I will get that answer for you. And then do what you got to do to get the answer. But I do like what you said. And I never used to do that. I'll be honest. I've just started doing this, I'd say maybe in the last 2 years, about congratulating the customer on their purchase,
absolutely.
Well, congratulations on your new, just like when you buy a car and the person, congratulations on your new Escalade, or, well, not me, I ain't buying no Escalade, but
congratulations on your new Dodge
Pinto.
Dart.
Whatever,
yeah.
Congratulations on your new fucking Honda Odyssey. No, I'm not buying a minivan. I refuse. But yeah, guys, your personality just it needs to come off. And like we've said on here a million times, is people buy from who they trust. if they don't trust you, you seem like a scumbag. It's just more chances than not, they're not going to buy what you want. They're going to do the bare minimum. I mean, obviously you're out there, so they'll do the bare minimum. Prime example, we used to have a guy that worked here. Yeah, we used to have a guy that worked here that he was a smart guy. He knew his shit. He was lazy at times, but he just was not a people person. And so many times I would go out afterwards and talk to him, and they're like, that guy's kind of a dick. They're like, he did a good job, like he fixed it. It was working, but he was just, I don't know, something about him. And I would tell him, but he's just not that kind of person. He's very quiet to himself. He's not an outgoing person. I'm like, but did he do a good job as far as explaining what he did and what needed to be done? They're like, oh, he was great with that. So in my head, I'm like, well, he did his job. I didn't tell him to go over and have a party with you.
Yeah,
that's my job.
Sorry. So how do you be more enthusiastic? Well, you simply act enthusiastically. So that's something that he could have worked on. He has the ability to do, but not all of us, some people are just not up for change of any sort, and they just won't listen to any advice that anyone may have to give. And that's too bad, because there's so much knowledge out there that can really improve your skills and your performance in any career and in any position. So always be looking to improve yourself. We've talked about that 100 times, but enthusiasm, boy, I can tell you, I've had two guys, they currently don't work with me anymore, but they did for a couple of years. And both of those guys were extremely enthusiastic all the time. And maybe not around the shop every day, but obviously with the customers they work. Customers absolutely love that. So this is a trait that if you can learn this and start applying it to your everyday service calls and installations, I'm telling you, it blows customers' minds. They absolutely love you. They fall in love with you, and they want, they start asking for you to come back, because it's something that not everybody, it's just not a common trait that people have. But like Gil said, some people have it, some people don't, but it is something that you can work on and get better at.
Yeah, and I've been lucky, like we've talked before, I am just naturally outgoing and very good at talking to people and communicating. I really do. When I sit in front of a customer, or anybody for that matter, I don't feel reserved. I don't know. It just comes naturally to me. I don't feel nervous or anything. And I know it's not like that for everybody. And when we say be outgoing, we're not saying go in there and be a douchebag where you're, hey, my name's Gil. Happy to be here today. I'm going to fix your air condition. We're going to get this thing working. You know what I mean? It's just, it's not that. And don't be fake, because customers will see through that shit up, a mile away. It's just, be yourself. It's just don't go in, hi, my name's Gil. I'm going to take a look at your AC, and I'll let you know what's happening. You know what I mean? It's just your tone of voice, just pleasant. One thing I always like is I always walk in and shake their hand. How you doing, sir? I'm Gil. Blah, blah, blah. I just try to greet them, be professional and stuff like that. It definitely helps the overall experience. I don't know any studies on it, but I'm pretty sure there are, and I know that it's a big helper.
I knew that at one time. There's when it comes to like presenting something to somebody, in order for them to remember, you have to include all of the like sight, sound, touch, all the senses. The more senses that you include in any type of presentation, whether it be just hey, here's the bad gas valve that we just replaced. Here you go. Check that out. Here's how it works, blah, blah, blah. And here's what this one was broken and wasn't doing. They're going to have a better experience. They're going to remember more of that conversation. So, but I can't remember the percentages of how much more, but it's drastic. Like after 48 hours of somebody just verbally telling you something, they remember like 20%. It's not much. So the more senses you get involved, though, the better. So always. But yeah, it's just one of those things where, and what Gil said, your body language and your tone of voice is huge. you may not mean anything negative or anything when you're talking to somebody about their furnace, but if you can just change the tone of your voice, I guess, and or it's like being empathetic too. When you have somebody who's like, oh my gosh, they tell you, oh my my cat just died, my roof's leaking, my hot water heater went out, and now this. It's like, chances are it probably took 2 or 3 years for all that to happen, but to them it all happened at once. And they when you communicate to them, you have to show that you really care about them, and that just comes with your tone, your
Yeah,
inflection, I think it's called. So
yeah, you show that, that empathy. Like I said, I mean,
yeah.
if that kind of happens, you're like, oh, I'm so sorry to hear that. I mean, I can only imagine what you're going through. And then try to be, well, I hope I can come up here and provide some good news. I can try to make your day better, try to make
Yeah.
them smile. And then if I come up and I do have a problem, you try to make it easy. Hey, Mrs. Jones, I know you already have a lot on your plate, but, I found that you have a bad gas valve downstairs, and then immediately turn that positive. You know, but it's not a big deal. I can get you, I can get another one, or I have one on the truck. I can get this taken care of. It's going to be such and such amount of money, and then we'll be good to go. You'll be up and running. It'll be something, knocked off your list that you're not going to have to worry about. You know what I mean? Immediately turn it positive. Like we said before, not all doom and gloom. That's not what a customer wants. It wants to be a good experience. And the other part of it is, I heard this in a class a while back, is after you leave that customer's house, you want them to remember, like, oh yeah, Gil was out here, not that tech or the AC guy. If they remember your name, you did something right.
Yeah, that's a good point. And that's you're going to get a lot more reviews and stuff if you connect with that person on that level, which ultimately helps your career and the business. So, yeah.
Well, one little tip that I'll give you guys that I used to do for the longest time is how I would get customers to get a lot of reviews is after I was done, I would tell the customer, like, hey, ma'am, we have this contest going on at work. Just if customers call in and we get, if I did a good job, if you'd let the company know, if you were happy with, with my performance today, if you would just call them and let them know, we have a contest at the end of the month. Whoever has the most, good reviews, we get like a bonus and like a paid day off or something like that. And if you really do a good job, those people will, oh yeah, sure, I'd love to do that. You know what I mean? They will do that. And yes, you're telling a little white lie. I mean, if you have a contest, great, but we never did. But I would just
Right.
say that. And my boss would always be like, well, how do you get all these people? He's like, what are you out there doing? Are you blowing people? Like, how are they calling in on you? And I'm like, and I told him what I did.
And he's like, yeah, I'm blowing them.
yeah, it's none of your damn business, boss. But
Right.
but yeah, he was just like, oh, that's pretty slick. And so then now I got some of my guys doing it, and it works. You know what I mean? And you guys should try it out. You start getting more calls, and not that the people weren't happy whether they called in or not, but now your boss is knowing about it. It's documented, because when we get that stuff, all that stuff is documented. It goes into the file of that person, good, bad, all that stuff. We get everybody, like, we sign it, they sign it, and it stays in there. That stuff pops up at race time when you're looking through that technician's folder. And if you got a stack of compliments from a customer, I mean, it definitely helps.
Yeah, I did a video on that because that's a good, and I basically said the exact same thing that you said. I'll take it one step further, which is the reason why that works, to say, hey, we got a little contest going, and if there's any way for you to help me out, whoever gets the most reviews this month and the best review, so there'll be a contest for the most reviews and the best review. So I'm just looking to hopefully win that contest, and I need you to be on my team. So just please give me a review, and I'll let you know if I win or not. And it's so people want to help other people. So when you say, I want you to be on my team, like Gil said, whether you're actually having a review contest or not, they're still going to be on your team if they leave your review, because they're helping you as build your credibility as a great technician. So it works, guys. Definitely use it.
Yeah, but you have to do a good job though, because you think about it today.
Yes.
Everybody's busy today. You know, time is against them. They're in a rush to do everything. So for them to take 5 minutes out of their day to actually call your company and do it, you have to have actually done a good job. So if you go in there and do a shitty job and you say what Kelly just said, help me out, you're going to walk out the door and then, but man, fuck this guy. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah, yeah. And another thing is, if for some reason it didn't go really great, you can always say, I know I had that problem, Mrs. Smith, and I worked quickly to get that resolved for you. Is there any reason why you still wouldn't give me a 5-star review? And let them tell you. They're It at least gives them an opportunity. And most of them will say, "Oh no, you did fine. We all make mistakes, whatever the case." And then, okay, well, great. I'm going to send this to you, and we actually have a contest too going. You could go on to that. Go on into saying that stuff to get that review. But reviews are just vital.
Yeah, I mean, in like social media, like Facebook and different things like that, Angie's List. I mean, those reviews are. I can't tell you how many customers that we've gotten because of they look up our reviews and they're like, "Oh man, I want this company." Because
Yeah.
the paper, obviously, we're still not digital yet. So when our guys get calls, the paper that the girls fill out at the bottom, it says, "How did they hear about us?" And you'll see a lot of them say online, and it'll say, like because of our good reviews and stuff like that. So those things, you're helping yourself and you're helping the company. So it's a win-win if it's done right.
Yeah, you can. When we started focusing on reviews, we started getting a whole lot more of them. And um, since we've done that, we get calls all the time where people say, "Well, I saw your review, so I thought I'd give you a chance. I needed this, and I was looking online. I saw your reviews, and they were great." So we get a lot of business just from having a lot of reviews, and we're killing it in my region. Like, we have way more reviews than anybody. So it helps. It helps the phone ring, believe it or not. So it's you got to make sure that your business is registered with Google. So Google My Business, make sure that you get that stuff done if you currently don't have that done. Or you can hire a marketing company to do that stuff for you. But it's vital to doing what Google wants. And Google, I mean, they're the most used search engine on the internet. So, and Google works really hard at providing the right information to people searching, depending on what they're searching for. So we just have to play this game. If you're behind the times, you don't have a website yet, you haven't registered your company with Google, get that stuff done. And if it's something that you don't have time for because you're busy working all the time, then hire a marketing company to get it done.
Yeah, we have a marketing company, and another little piece of advice that I've learned from a marketing company is, I guess this is more for business owners or managers than employees, but if you have a negative review, like if you're looking at your reviews on something, you have a negative one, address that negative comment. Don't just let that thing sit there, because then you're leaving it open to interpretation when people look at it. I mean, obviously you want to answer it being professional and, you lying ass bitch, that didn't happen, fucking liar. You know what I mean? Just, ma'am, sir, I'm sorry you felt that way. We did this, and this. I'm sorry that you weren't happy. You know what I mean? Just make sure you address that. And if the person keeps going, leave it alone. But just make sure you address it, in a positive way. Cause I've just heard if you just leave that negative one there and you do nothing, it's, I don't know, it's almost kind of like admitting guilt, or just you're giving the reader like, oh, well, that's not good. You know what I mean? And they might have read 5 good ones, but if that's the last one they read, it might be what sticks in their mind.
To a certain extent, it's only the customer's perspective. And a lot of times when you get a negative review, there's the way that it's written and structured could be completely different from what actually happened. So sometimes you just have to respond a little bit, try not to jump on the defense hard, because that doesn't make you look very good either. But I'll also tell you that any positive reviews, and I'm behind on this myself, but you need to respond to the positive reviews. I recently learned that Google is they're paying attention to that stuff. They want to know that you're interacting with your customers. And so I was told by a marketing company that you want to go in depth. Like, if they purchased a maintenance agreement from you and they didn't say anything, they just said, hey, they were great. They provided great service. Hey, thank you, Mrs. Smith, and we look forward to serving you in the future with your new maintenance plan. Like, actually say like what you did there, or if you installed a high efficiency system, write something about the high efficiency system and how they're going to enjoy some savings, and how quiet their new system is. Like, go into detail, because Google is watching that stuff. And I just learned that probably 4 months ago, just from it was a different marketing company that deals with one of my suppliers, and he shared that information with me. It's fairly new, but you do want to respond to those good reviews as well.
That's good. I mean, we have responded to some, or we've put, like maybe like
Uh-huh.
small answers, like kind of generic. So
Yeah,
that's
thank
something
you
that I'm
so
gonna,
much.
do.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I like that. I
definitely.
mean, yeah, one thing we always try to do, like if people buy a system, we always send like a thank you card, and like we'll send them something like, cookies, or I don't know. We have different things that we'll send thanking that person for their, their purchase and stuff like
Sure.
that. Um, I
That's
don't know.
something that I don't have 100% in place. I mean, I have sent cookie baskets through Cookie Advantage before. It's a company that it's really cool company, and there's different options packages that you can send, and it's, yeah, just order online, it ships it out, so it's pretty cool. But I'd like to have a recurring thing where anytime anyone spends X amount of dollars over us, that we send that out. I think that's a great idea and great implementation, and just a great thank you for them trusting us with the project.
Yeah, I mean, because just like we say, like good employees are hard to find, so are good customers. So when you
Mm-hmm.
have them, you want customer retention, you want to keep them, because, I mean, guys, look in your city and look at how many HVAC companies are out there. They have plenty of options. So why should they choose you? So anything you can do to keep them with you is a plus.
And that ultimately comes down to, you got to keep in contact with them. There's many forms of contact, whether it be text message, emails, phone calls, even if it's a recorded phone call, direct mail, flyers, gift cards, anything that you can mail to them. Just keep in contact with your existing customer base. That way they don't forget about you. You're always top of mind. When somebody else asks or one of their friends or somebody in their circle needs something, well, it's going to be your company that comes to, that they're going to say.
Yeah, yeah, definitely. And I know that's like real big on like emergency calls. Um, we've had that where people, well, not just emergency calls, but I don't know. I hear a lot of customers say, they're like, "Oh, I called that big company. They said they couldn't be out for a week." I mean, we've never told anybody that. We try to get out as fast as we can, and I know the bigger companies, their client, they're they have a lot more customers than we have. But when you break it down to how many techs versus the customer base, I mean, the ratio is going to be the same or close to it. Um, so yeah, granted, they might have 10,000 customers where we have um I don't know, 1,000. We have more than 1,000, but
Yeah, say
you know,
3,000. Yeah.
yeah, you know what I mean. But our tech to customer ratio is going to be about the same. We're still not telling them it's going to be 3 days or 4 days before we can get out there. I mean, we try to respond as fast as we can, and that's always been good to hear that when we go out and the customers like, "Thank you guys so much, man. You guys were out here, 9 o'clock on a Friday night, and we called 4 other companies, and they said they couldn't come out till Tuesday or Friday or blah blah blah." So something little like that, just it can make a customer for long term.
Oh yeah.
But I guess we're at an
Okay.
hour, guys. I know me and Kelly did a little BS in the beginning, but tried to give some good information there at the end. And guys, always know, man, like this podcast is for you guys. So any topics that you guys ever want to hear, or you want us to get somebody to talk about a certain topic, please don't feel, please feel free to let us know. I had a guy reach out and said that he would love to hear more on oil. So me and Kelly are going to get in touch with, a guy who is very knowledgeable about oil to come on here, and give you guys some stuff. Or if any of you guys are very, very good at oil, I wouldn't say an oil expert, but if that's your thing and you're very knowledgeable, then hit us up on the email, hvacuncensored@gmail.com. And, we'd love to have you on the podcast because it could help some guys out. But, all right, Kelly, let's go ahead and close this thing out.
Thanks so much for listening, guys. We are the fastest growing HVAC podcast, probably the fastest growing Facebook group, because it's just unreal how many new members that have came into the group just over the past 3 weeks. So thank you for all the support and love, and we love you guys right back. So thanks so much. I hope you have a great week, great weekend, and go make money.
Yeah, guys. As always, man, that we appreciate each and every one of you. This podcast would not be what it is without you. We appreciate your guys' support, your interaction. Kelly's right. Between the podcast, how many people are listening, the Facebook group just growing. I mean, it's doubled since me and Kelly have, started this podcast. It's been great. It's been fantastic. The outpouring of support, and the guys who hit me up, messaging saying, "Hey man, I love the podcast. And, you guys do this and do that." Those little things mean a lot. You know what I mean? It makes all of it worth it. 'Cause you do get some negative comments, but those positive ones, they just make it all worth it. So, guys, remember, go share the podcast. If you have friends that are in the industry that you don't think they listen, share the podcast with them. Hey, take a listen to this. We really, really appreciate that just to grow this thing even more. We're jumping off. This thing is spreading like wildfire. But if you guys can help us do that, that would be great. That we're on all the major podcast apps, iTunes, Google Play, Stitcher, Spotify, and SoundCloud. We have our website. You can direct that there as far as HVAC Uncensored at hvacuncensored.com. We're on YouTube, and I know I've been saying forever that I'm going to try to get some stuff on there. It's been so hard, but I promise you guys, get some content on the YouTube channel as fast as possible. So with that being said, always make it home the same way you left. Be better, do better, and just do what the next guy's not doing. And I will talk at you motherfuckers later. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the HVAC Uncensored podcast. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram, or email us anytime at hvacuncensored@gmail.com. Now, get back to work. Shut this down. The views and opinions shared on the HVAC Uncensored podcast may not necessarily be the views and opinions of our sponsors or guests.
I'm sipping coffee from a paper cup, lying down and looking up. All around me, nothing has changed. I find away the chains that make me age. Far away, I wanna be inside a dream, pacing around without a care for anything real. Most of the time I don't worry much about staying behind or to keep in touch with you.